widget.
Hello, how are you doing this wonderful day? This is Rexy, your ODI cricket data assistant designed by Amar Haralicker. How can I help you?
How many records in the cricket database?
To find out the total number of records in the cricket database, I will execute a query to count the rows in the ODI table.
Go ahead,
Please
go
hold
ahead.
on. There are 1,513,804 records in the cricket database.
Got it.
Here are the
1.5 million records. Okay. So from that data, can you tell me who are the top three strikers by the number of runs off the bat?
I will execute a query to find the top 3 strikers based on the number of runs scored off the bat.
Go ahead.
Please hold on for a moment. The top 3 strikers by the number of runs scored off the bat are Virat Kohli with 13,784 runs, Kumar Sangakkara with 11,618 runs, and Rohit Sharma with 10,646 runs. If you need more
So
information, feel free to ask.
for these three strikers, can you share their run rate? Run per match and number of runs per over.
To calculate the run rate, runs per match, and runs per over for these 3 strikers, I will need to gather the total number of matches they played and the total number of overs they batted in. Please hold on while I execute the necessary queries. Here are the statistics for the 3 strikers. Virat Kohli. Matches, 280. Total runs, 13,784. Total balls, 15,031. Run rate, approximately 4.6 runs per over. Runs per match, approximately 49.2 runs per match.
Okay, that's great. You don't have to read out everything. Can you do one thing? Can you push that to my docs so I will review it there?
The data has been successfully pushed to your docs for your review. You're welcome. If you have any more questions in the future, feel free to reach out. Have a great day.
Let's go to and check out the docs. This is a Google Docs which has been linked here. So let's see if it is showing up there. So here we go. So it has been pushed into the Google Docs. The data we spoke about. It also has it also has the voice chat. This is the text chat, and text and the voice chat currently are not linked. They are separate. So we can use either one of them. And if we need charts, it can come from the charts are also linked to the text box. Hey, can you share a chart for this? Share a combo chart, onto a separate axis so that things are clear. So you share on one axis section here. So we have to go to the top, and here we go to the chart section. So here we go. We have the chart here down below. Then there are sample. This is how the data looks like. These are some sample records. Sample by ball. The version is on rex.tixit.com, and here you can come to the single tasker AI apps, and this is the cricket. This is Rexy. It is the same one. So I already have a conversation here. So let's hide the interface and make it a larger screen. And again, both the text and the chat are here. So
hello, how are you doing this wonderful day? This is Rexy, your ODI cricket data assistant designed by Amar Haralicker. How can I help you?
And this is the prior conversation which I have, same kind of a conversation, and you can see the SQL queries also which have been used. Go through the charts or look at it in an expanded way. And the docs also the same thing. The doc, in case you push it to your Google Docs, so the links are here. Now, what about the data? Where is the data file, and what if you want to look at the updated data? So here you come to the help and the build guide, and in the quick start section you go down below, and this is the data file which is there used in the demo. It is around 180 MB, 190 MB, around 1.5 million record. It is a TXT file. Want to get the latest data? Where is the data coming from? So for that, then you head over to automation for AI apps. So here you head over to cricksheet.org, this one here. So this is the file processor. So where is the source data? Source data I am picking up from cricksheet.org. They have got an experimental download. Their normal data is in JSON format, but they have got experimental downloads in CSV format. So this is the data which I had picked up by match type, one day international match, which has got 2,860 match data which I picked up. The one which says new is original and the new one. So this new is the one which I picked up. So you can, anytime you want an updated data or you want to process some other type of data, you simply go here, you download this file. And how this file, once you download, what is there in that file? It will be a zip file like this, and inside there will be thousands of files, 2800 matches. There is two files per match, so 5000 files are there. So I take the main match file, and one file is the info file, which I disregard. Do you process that? Then you come back to this, you come back to the Quicksheet CSV zip file processor. So once you have downloaded whichever data you want, so then you upload the data here. So if you upload the data here and you ask it to process the file, so it will start processing the file. So inside, there are this one has got around 5000 file. We are picking up half of them. So it will pick up the process the file batch, and it will show you the progress here as it processes the files. Or it is in build it. This has got the source code in case you want to modify it in some manner. Then the source code is here in the build it section. So now it is ready. All batches processed successfully. So we download the processed file, and you save the file. It has got a long name which comes. So you save the file as a .txt. That file, once it is processed, it will be around 190, this thing 180 190 MB, and we can open it with Notepad++. So it will be in this format. It is a pipe delimited format, very easy to ingest. Validated the data, I just pick it up from the site, and I'm just processing it right there. So get that out. Now, once you have processed this data, how do you, what if you want to analyze a different match or a different latest data? So there are one or two ways to do it. One is that you come back to the multitasker app and the main Rex A, the analyzer AI. This is the one which I had shown in my last video. You have a database and you have the credentials. You just say connect and you put your credentials here and send it to the AI agent. And AI, you get a response saying that it has connected to your database. Now it has connected to your database. You go here, you choose the file, and you say push to my DB. So it will upload the file to this database as I had shown in the last video. You can get the table structure and analysis of it. Now, what if you don't have a database or you want to create a temporary or a quick database? So as I had shown in the previous videos, you can go to Iven, AIVEN. You can go to Iven, you can go to Supabase, you can go to Neon, where within a minute you will get a database generated, and you can use the same credentials, put it here. You can use this create DB here. This will give you, this will generate a temporary database for you. You create DB here. It needs a Google this thing, and it will create a new Neon database. You say create database, and right on the fly, it will create a Neon Postgres database for you. This is a temporary one. I typically clean it out every few days. So you can get this data. These are your database credentials, and automatically the agent will log in there, and you will get a message saying that it has tested the connection and it is there. So you again choose the file, upload the file, and analyze like I had shown in the previous video. You can get a table view here, and this will give you the quick structure and analysis. So now you have uploaded your latest data or whichever other match data or any other data do you have. So you can analyze it here. But what if you want to talk in a real-time conversation? So that real-time conversation is here. It is, so in which case then you will need to replicate this, or you need to attach this widget. So now we will go to how to build it. The quick how to build it out. So and the build code, source code, and the guides are here. These are links, and these links will take you to detailed guides. So let's look at that. Okay, so the build guide is there in the app itself. Here you come to the help and the build guide section. You come to the build section here, and this is the main repo. There are 3 repos which are used, but this main repo has got all the this has got a step-by-step guide. Main repo where I have now kept a very detailed step-by-step guide, and we will do a quick walkthrough. Let's do a quick walkthrough of this. So first of all, this is a JavaScript. This is vanilla JavaScript. So the whole code actually is only one single file. It is around 80 MB, 80 KB, 80 KB file, not MB, only 80 kilobytes kind of a file. Half of that is sample records which are there. If you go to the subdomain, of the app, which is c.exec.com, so this is the subdomain of the app. If you do right click and you do view page source, so this is the whole code. That's it. The whole code is sitting here, and I use plain vanilla JavaScript. It has got its trade-offs and pros and cons, but it definitely for simple to medium complexity apps, it's a very rapid, a fairly rapid and a quick development for it. And there are some pros and cons which are involved, and how to secure this app I will be covering in the as we go down below. So now what do we have here? What do we have here? So first of all, these are all the previous video guides. I will be doing a quick walkthrough of the various steps, but some of these guides have got very granular guides. So for example, if I go here, so this is a 5 parts video series, and if you see here, there are if there is something specific that you would like to go into, say build custom tool for function call in Flowwise, then you can directly jump into the part 2 and do 11 minute 30 seconds, and you can directly look at that specific part where I have done a very detailed walkthrough of each of the components, as almost 80% of the components here in this one, 80% of the components here are the same components, same reusable components from the previous videos, right? So we have this. Then there are these 2-3 other guides. One is Leon Van Zyle's guides are, he's excellent for Flowwise. So it's his guides are like, superb for Flowwise, and also for ElevenLabs voice widget, as well as ElevenLabs custom build with SDK. So they are great. Then Volo builds is in case you, for learning using Cursor AI for building apps, full stack apps. Excellent one, using including database data and text to SQL apps. And then Nick Sares for anything related to make.com. It is simply the best. Now next step-by-step deployment process. So first step is, I will suggest just clone the repo and just deploy it to using Vercel or Netlify or whichever is your favorite hosting platform, and then you go about making the changes and integrating it. So the next step is to set up the LLM agent and the tools. I have set it up in Flowwise. You can set it up in any other. You can hard code it in Python, in JavaScript. You can use any of the tools and platform. Doesn't make a difference as long as you have an API. As long as they are available via an API call. As long as you can make an API call, you can do that. So this is the agent setup, very similar to what we have been what I've covered in the previous video. So I won't go into details of this, but all the schemas are shared in the docs folder here. So this docs folder here, all the schemas are there. You can directly import it. They'll also be shared in the previous repos also. Then next is setting up your database. You will need either you will. So I'm assuming you can have a database. It can be Postgres or it can be MySQL. Here I'm using Postgres. I found it to be far faster. Postgres I found it to be far faster in terms of response. And how to set up your own database in case you are doing it for a very first time. I have shared that in the Rex A video. You can do it very quickly in Ivan or Supabase or Neon in a few minutes if you are doing it for the first time. And then you just keep those credentials and update it in the fast API server repo, as we will see down below. Now once you have the database, now you have to upload the data to the database. So if you just want to start with the file which I have kept shown in the demo, then that file is uploaded, is shared in this Google Drive. You can simply upload that. You can simply upload the file. How do you upload the file? You can use whichever tool you are using, Python or JavaScript or SQL editor, or any of the workbenches, or you can use rex.exec.com. As I had shown earlier, you can in the main Rex also, you can come to the main Rex. This allows you to connect to any database. You can connect, give your credentials here, and you can choose your file and say push to my DB. It will push the file to whichever database you want in case you want to use this. So now your file has been updated into the database. This is the existing file. Now what if you want to get the latest file, or you want to get a file for some other match? So as I had shown in the previous section, you can go download the file from this quicksheet.org from this link, and it is a zip file consisting of one file per match. So inside a zip file there will be thousands of files. So you can come here, and as I had shown in the previous section, you can come here and process it. And in case you want the code for this processor, you want to, it could be some football data, it can be some other business data. You want to do some kind of processing, you want the code for it. This is specific to this. It is a custom code, may not work for others, fine. But codes are, this is a GitHub repo. You can take the code, modify it as you wish. This is a Flask front end. So this is a very simple Flask app, HTML front end, and the back end is a Flask. So you can process whichever data. Now you have the data. Now the fast API backend. So you have to set up the fast API server. So this is the same exact same fast API server that I've been using in the right from probably the beginning of the year. So same code, it has evolved over time. So this is the repo. In this repo, I have shared guides on how to set this up. You can deploy it on wherever you like to deploy. Render is the easiest one. You can deploy it on Heroku, you can do it on Railway, you can do it on AWS Lambda. But if you are just starting off or testing it out, or do want to do something quick, then Render is the fastest, easiest one. Nowadays, I deploy it on Coolify, which is itself deployed on Hetzner. You have to change the environment variable which is there in the .env example. If we go here, I have used I1 database. So you have to change this here. Whichever database you are using, say I am using I1, so I have given the I1 database. You have to give it here as an environment variable, your database credentials. And once you have given the database credentials, if you are using I1, no need to be changed. If you are using something else, then the small minor changes which will be required in the app. In the app, the connections are established, and once the connections are established, then in case you are using some XYZ database, then you say XYZ, and then you have to give the cloud var for it. So that's something that Cursor AI or any of your AI coders will do it for you. So assuming you are using I1 only, so you have given the I1 connections and set up the and deployed the fast API server, then you will get this kind of an endpoint which I have described in my those earlier videos. I have gone into great detail about how to set up this as a server or render and so on, so I won't go over it again. CORS configuration, so this is a security configuration. This I will suggest not to do it at first step. This you do it last when everything is working. So this is how I have implemented it for my domain. So only the requests coming from this domain are then entertained, because all our endpoints are exposed in the JavaScript code. Any JavaScript code, whether it is vanilla JavaScript or you do a React, the endpoints will get exposed one way or the other, either in the view source or in the developer console, right, in the network tab. So it is always best to use at least domain whitelisting, or you can use API key, as we'll discuss in the next section. So now fast API has been deployed. Now we come to the ElevenLabs voice widget setup. So here again, I will do a quick walkthrough, but you should look at Leon's video in case you need more help. He has done a very detailed step-by-step walkthrough of this, as well as using the SDK for customization if you would like to do that. So you go to ElevenLabs, you will have to create an account and log in, and then you go to the app. So it's very simple, straightforward, one of the simplest, easiest to set up, and it just worked right off the bat first time. You go to agents, and and this is my current agent. You can create a new agent and blank template, and you fill in the data. So this is the agent, and these are the various details that you can fill in here for the agent, and the details which are to be filled in, I have shared it in the my repo here. So in that tool, what are the various details to be filled in? So I have shared it here. This is the first message, this is the system prompt, but this is just an example. It depends on your data. It could be cricket data, football data, or it could be some other data. So you'll have to, this shows you how you have to set up the agent. And for the agent, now you will also have to give the tools. We have got two tools. One is this is the main tool. This is the tool which agent uses to generate to connect to the database. So this connects to the fast API server, and this is the data document update tool. So all the details which need to be filled here, I have shared here, that these are the things that you have to fill up for setting up the tool. So now you have the tool setup which allows your agent to connect to the data. Now you have all the components built and deployed. Now last piece is to connect everything to the UI or the front end which you have already deployed, or you might be testing it on local. But keep in mind, this is a JavaScript app, single page JavaScript app. It will work on the browser only from your local, without requiring a will work on your local only. But the embed, the voice widget embed, it needs to be served by a server. So that's why either you have to deploy it, or if you are testing it on local, then you will have to do npx serve if you are using Node, or you have to do, you have to uh, run a Python web server and then serve this page. So so here now you have to embed the latest the agent ID, and basically you need the agent ID for the ElevenLabs widget. You will get the script right there. You go and look for this code and replace it. Then this is the AI chat agent. So this is my Flowwise base URL, and this is the chat flow ID. This is my Flowwise API endpoint. Basically, if you are using not Flowwise, but if you are using N8N, or if you are using some other AI agent which is deployed and accessible via an API endpoint, you have to just give that API endpoint here. These are links to your document, in case you want to integrate various documents. So this is where you will need to give the links. This is how you need to give the links for the documents. Image URL, Flowwise, the image, the chart which is generated, it is generated on the server as a separate image. So you need to pick that up separately. So this is how the image is constructed for Flowwise. If you are using Flowwise, you can directly use this. If you are using some other agent backend, you will need to construct the image URL for it. Now security is important for everything, or at least some basic level of security should be there, and you can use an API endpoint at least should be secure. And there are different levels of security. The IT world has perfected that, are doing that for last decades. But at least for the API endpoints, you can use any of the options. You can use API keys, you can use IP or domain whitelisting, you can set up authentication, or you can just segregate the backend and front end, but that's a separate build. Okay, then it's no more a simple app now. And there are many other ways that you can do it, but at least some degree of security should be there. In my ear, many times, for prototypes, apps and all, uh, I end up sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But in this case, I have set up my domain whitelisting. So Flowwise, again, you go to configuration, you put your domain. ElevenLabs also allows domain whitelisting, but when I put my domain, it was not working, so I removed it. Fast API server, I already showed the code patch where you can give your domain for whitelisting. So, and you can set up API keys if you'd like, right? So with this, once you integrate all this, your now app is will be uh, your app will be now live on the site. Here I have integrated into the main Rex framework, but you can then link your custom domain to it if you are doing it in Vercel, Netlify, or any of the hosting providers.